from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
It's a joke. You gotta pay taxes anyway. Why are you paying taxes to drive on the same road you done paid taxes on? That's double charging me for taxes.
Having to pay extra to drive on highways each weekend to and from Lakes Country? It could happen sooner than you think. There's a small section of the Minnesota Transportation Bill requiring a study on toll roads.
That report must be submitted early next year, and it'll take a look at expanding toll roads statewide. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric asks, what would you do if Highway 10 or I-94 required a toll before travel?
There's another wrench being tossed into the debate now on how to pay for roads and bridges in Minnesota. It's only a small section, a few sentences of this legislation. It talks about expanding MnPass down near the cities and statewide creating more toll highways to raise revenue. The report is to include studying toll roads to reduce congestion, a look at what other states have done, and potentially how much money could they raise.
It impacts everybody's world, if you ask me, for the simple fact of the matter is we are already paying taxes on these roads, and you're raping me in taxes. I mean, they're raping anybody else in taxes. It's not fair to the average taxpayer to be charged to drive down a road you're already getting taxes taken out on.
Imagine if I-94 from here to the cities requires a toll, or even Highway 10 for that matter. Two major arteries for Lakes Country, not to mention commerce. It's going to have a big impact on what you do for a living.
Well, yeah, but it gets passed on to you guys, the customer, or, the consumers.
The Minnesota Trucking Association stance, this won't work, saying in part, quote, toll studies have been conducted before and determined there is little potential. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
The final report is supposed to be submitted by January 2nd of 2018.
People were cleaning up today following last night's storm in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Many are dealing with downed trees. A power line tower was replaced today after it was bent by the wind. According to the National Weather Service guidelines, wind speeds had to be over 100 miles per hour to collapse a metal truss. A nearby trampoline was thrown in between two homes, causing a hole.
I looked out the window and saw the trampoline fly through the air, so I literally grabbed her and ran downstairs.
Now, if you have downed limbs or branches on the boulevard, Moorhead and Fargo Forestry Departments say they'll be getting to them over the next few days and to notify them about hanging branches.
Many tree services were busy today, taking calls from people with trees and branches down from last night's storm. The owner of Mr. Canopy Tree Care says he's gotten 20 calls from all over the metro and expects it will take him a week to get all his jobs finished. He says people should not try to take on the job themselves, especially if they're near power lines. He adds prices vary for most jobs, and some tree services may actually increase their prices because of the demand.
Stormy weather has moved on, leaving us with windy conditions. Let's check in with Justin about tonight's weather. And Justin, any trouble out there?
Yeah, the good news is we don't see any trouble. The wind is really raising temperatures. It is from the south. Out where they're seeing the rain out toward Devil's Lake, 66 degrees, but everybody else into the upper 70s to close to 80 degrees. Here's how the radar looks right now. We have the lightning on, and as you can see, we have some showers moving through just north of Grand Forks, Grafton, Hallock. We are seeing some shower activity out there. Also, as we make our way down south toward Carrington, more showers just south of the Michigan area. Everybody else, especially into the Southern Valley and Lakes Country, are just partly cloudy as we make our way through this evening. So as we go through tonight, temperatures falling from near 80. We're going to keep mostly clear skies, 76 at 8 p.m. and by around 9 p.m. into the lower 70s. Now, we have an active weather pattern, but the severe weather chances are low as we go through this next week. We'll have the details coming up later in the newscast. Now, let's check in with Robert Hahn at the Backyard Barbecue.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Yeah, beautiful day out here for the Cashwise Backyard Barbecue here in the Glendon area. The food all prepared. Folks are behind me eating. And how's the food? Everybody liking the food? All right, food is good. Food is wonderful, and I think I'm getting ready to dig on into my own hot dog. Again, the Cashwise Backyard Barbecue, a wonderful day. Just a few clouds out there, a welcome respite after yesterday's stormy weather. We're going to head it back into the studio to you guys.
All right, thanks, Robert. We've been investigating the circumstances behind the closing of Romo's restaurants in Fargo and the disappearance of the owner, Rodolfo Romo, June 2nd. Well, today a viewer sent us this photo of what looks to be an eviction notice that was on the door of the Romo's restaurant located on 19th Avenue North. The notice shows that the business has until Friday to vacate the location before legal action is taken. We previously tried reaching out to Rodolfo Romo on his cell phone, but the calls went straight to voicemail.
The Towner County State's Attorney says 18-year-old Sam Bjornstedt of Candu, North Dakota, is being charged with terrorizing, which is a felony, as well as a simple assault. The state's attorney says that after further investigation, an attempted murder charge against Bjornstedt was not appropriate. Bjornstedt was arrested last Sunday after a domestic dispute.
A woman is dead after a rollover on Interstate 94. It happened about 11:30 near Tower City, North Dakota. Investigators say they believe the woman's vehicle crossed the median and rolled before hitting the ditch. The woman was airlifted to Fargo, where she later died. I-94 was shut down for about 30 minutes to prepare for a helicopter landing. Authorities are not releasing the victim's name until family can be notified.
There's major smoke damage after a fire broke out this morning inside the locker room of the Jamestown High School hockey team. Fire crews got the call around 7:20 of a fire inside the John L. Wilson Arena at 900 James Avenue Northeast in Jamestown. There was also some water damage in several locker rooms after a pipe broke. Firefighters were on the scene for about 1 hour. There was no one in the building at the time and no injuries reported.
A strong message will soon appear in some Minnesota rest areas. The Minnesota Department of Transportation wants to educate people about the signs of human trafficking. MnDOT will begin installing posters in 41 rest areas across the state to educate travelers about human trafficking and to encourage them to report suspicious activity. The posters include guidelines on how to recognize signs of human trafficking and potential victims, and a toll-free hotline to report any suspicious activity. Human trafficking often involves travel, including the transport of victims from a base of operations to locations of exploitation.
In the last year, some North Dakotans have reported losses of more than $366,000 because of sweepstakes scams. Attorney General Wayne Stenghjem said the victims all believed they had won a valuable prize in a sweepstakes, but had to pay various fees and taxes before the prize could be released to them. If you are asked to pay anything at all before you receive the prize, it's a scam. Scam artists like to have victims use various forms of payment, such as gift cards or wire transfers, because they can access the funds instantly and they can't be tracked. For more information on how to talk to relatives about scams, contact the Consumer Protection Division at 328-3404.
3 finalists have been named for a vacant seat on the North Dakota Supreme Court. South Central District Judge James Hill, Northeast Central District Judge John Jensen, and Northwest District Judge Robin Schmidt will now be considered by North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. The opening came after Justice Carol Kapsner announced her plans to resign in July.
The current gasoline average in Fargo and other area communities is at a point last seen more than a decade ago. According to AAA, today's average of $2.06 is 3 cents lower than 1 year ago. The last time Fargo area motorists paid a lower price during the month of June was in 2005. That year, the daily average moved as low as $1.97 during the month. Over the past 12 years, the average price for a gallon of gas during the month of June in Fargo is $2.97. The North Dakota average over that same period, $3.11. Prices are expected to continue to move lower as oil and gasoline supplies outpace demand.
Sounds good to me. The learning doesn't stop for some students just because school is out. Later on Valley News Live at 6, how techie these kids are getting.
And we got a high temperature of 81 degrees, a few degrees above our normal high of 77. And Fargo, in terms of rain, just under an inch for the month. That's still dry, but we have plenty more rain chances coming up. Details next.